Welcome to A Lot on Sports. I'm James Lott Jr. For you YouTubers, probably thinking, what, James doing a sports show? Well, yes, on some level. Yes, we have already started doing this show on audio and had some success with it. So occasionally, like I do with some other shows, I will have a video episode. And so it's still audio. You can find it wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Google, not Google, Apple, Audible, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Spotify. It's all there. A lot on sports. And then, but for you listening to this, if you want to see, because I want to show you something as I tell the story. So if you want to see it, then come to YouTube/JLJ Media. So I'm just going to tell a story that is sports related. And that's what this show's going to be about. So we've been featuring some of high school sports that we cover. We have a bunch of sports shows in Indiana, high school sports shows, and one college, and they do very well for us. And I've always been trying to figure out something of some way of like, I want to do something sportsy, that's adjacent. It won't be like all the regular sports shows, but it could be the odd side of sports, the fun side, personal stories of my experiences with sports. Talk to sports people. I have some people lined up to come on. I have some people lined up to come on the show. That I'm very excited about that are coming on. I have some guests coming on. I'm very excited. But just it's gonna be a mixture of, like all my other shows. It's gonna be done the JLJ way. So it's not gonna be straight up ESPN, but it's gonna be somewhere sports. It's just all things sports related. So who knows who can come on here? So we'll be doing that. And so I wanted to tell you this quick story about. I'm just starting to write something down. That I reminded myself. Okay. So this goes back to when I was 9 years old. Nine. Well, this goes back to when I was like 5 or 6. So I couldn't tell you why, but I was fascinated with Hawaii. For some reason, Hawaii was a big fascination for me. And my Aunt Lucille, who used to travel, one of her favorite places to go was Hawaii. And she had sent me this book. I still have it. I don't have it with me. It's packed away. But she sent me this book about Hawaii that I loved. I used to thumb through it all the time. All the time. So for years, I always wanted to go as a destination. One of my destinations. My other place was Australia. I wanted to go there too. It was a big deal for me. Also, I did a in junior high school. I think called middle school now. I did a report on koalas. That was my whole thing. I have a brook in a koala house and all that. But anyway, I wasn't particularly a sports kid. I played out there on the streets. I mean, we did a lot of playing. I was a big tree climber. I tried climbing trees. I like skating. I was a big skater. That kind of stuff, biker, that kind of stuff. But actual sports, my mother forced us to play soccer for a couple of years. Hated it. It was not just not for me. And then this opportunity came in my neighborhood. So I was told that this team, the Pirates, this was back in 79, 80. I was 10, 9 turning into 10. My birthday's in May. They're like, we need some baseball players from the neighborhood to join the team. And if we win this season and we beat some other all the other teams and stuff, we could go to the National Pee Wee Leagues in Hawaii. Now, even at 10 years old, James Lott Jr. was industrious, and I knew, I'm like, Hawaii? And I was a fearless kid. Mother would tell you I was a very fearless kid. I had no desire to play baseball. I didn't watch baseball. I knew about the Pittsburgh Pirates back then. They were really big at the time. So I remember them and Reggie Jackson and all that. But at school, I played dodgeball, volleyball, tetherball. But I would play, I was an active kid, but I was more of an academic more than I was a sports guy. But I had the body of being a sports person. So I whatever. So I said at 10 years old, my mother would attest to this, I will join a team. We're going to win, and we're going to Hawaii. I was as sure as day. That was it. We're going to Hawaii. Just, I don't, I mean, we're going to do this. I joined the team. I played out. I was an outfielder, left field. I'm a left-handed person, so I had to So they had to do the whole teach me how to bat left-handed and all that stuff. Now, I wasn't the greatest player that ever lived or nothing. I wasn't like even the best player on the team, but I was dedicated. And I was like, my goal was, I'm playing this season to go to Hawaii. That's it. So I was a determined kid. We played. We actually won the PB League here in Los Angeles, and so I was like, okay. And now it's 1980, and we're going to Hawaii. So at this point, it's my only second time leaving. Well, no, I've left my parents several times. I guess yes, okay. It was just young. I was like, no, I left like 4 or 5 times without them. Anyway, so it's an early time for me. But it was my first time on a plane. That was the difference. That's what I'm getting there. It was the first time on a plane. And so I was ready to go. So we're going to be there 9 days. We're going to fly to Honolulu, stay at the Island Colony Hotel, which I don't even think it's there anymore. And there was some sightseeing. We're going to go see Diamond Head and all this stuff. But we had a bunch of games to play, people from all over the world, all over the country, whatever. And we had games almost every other day. Sometimes we had games like twice that. If you advanced, every time you advance, sometimes you'd play 2 games a day or whatever. It was insane. But I was a kid. I was having a good time. But I was excited. I remember I got myself, we got to Hawaii, and I remember getting on a plane. It was an L-1011. I don't know, they didn't even make those anymore either. It was a huge plane. 6 hours over water. I just remember it was a big plane. I didn't feel nothing. It was just like, it was so smooth. And we got there, and I had to share a room with two other kids. And we had an adult and a chaperone adult. My friend Daryl was part of the team. Down the street from me, so we went together. I was in Hawaii. Now, the competitive nature of me, though, was kind of like, I want to stay here as long as I can. Well, I mean, I think we're still going to be there 9 days, but I think it was like, there was a possibility we could go home early if we don't win enough games. I'd be like, okay, bye. But we were going to be there, and we had everything laid out. So, and 9 days is a long time. You think about it, that's a long time. I don't know. I was an adult, so I don't know any particulars or how they set it up. I have no idea. The event planning part is like, how they do all that? I have no idea. Anyway, so we're in Hawaii. We're winning games. I get to see Diamond Head. I get to go on the beaches. I got to experience where it rains on one side of the road, not the other. Hawaiian food, macadamia nuts. So I realized I don't like macadamia nuts, but I did try them. It was beautiful. The flora and fauna, the swimming, everything. Kids, here's the kicker. We kept winning. Here's what I want to show you guys. We won. I'm going to get close. It says Pee Wee National League, 1980 Pirates, James Lott Jr. I have this still. I thought I lost this in a fire. I found this earlier this year when I was going through a random bin I didn't know I had. I was so happy to have it. This thing is 45 years old. Look at it. Thanks to Irv Noren's Trophy Center in West Covina. I don't even know if you're still around, Irv Noren. But this is we won the whole league, the National League. And I got time in Hawaii. And I always tell a story as a part of inspiration that even at 9, 10, 11 years old, I was that determined to do that. And so that's your happy ending of this story. I was determined. We went. And, and I was thinking, even if we lost, but the thing was, once I put my foot in on Hawaiian soil, we all got laid. We came off the plane. I had won already. I mean, I helped make my dream come true. And it wasn't. And I want to say it wasn't disingenuous. I really did. I liked some of the kids on my team, and it was a fun experience. I learned a lot about team play and everything. I never played again. The next season, they're like, James, you come back? I'm like, nope, I'm done. I moved on. I was like, I got to Hawaii. My trophy got to Hawaii. I'm done. And I remember the coach was bummed out. Just like, come on, you don't want to come back? You were good. He went, no. I've been to a few baseball games in my life. Went to one recently, my friend Flo. I'm not a baseball fan of any sort. I had fun at the game with Flo. I had a good time with him, but I just don't want. It's not for me. I'm just not that person. And but it's a great lesson in. I think every kid should play a sport at some point, whether they like it or not. Force them to play something because you learn a lot about yourself and others when you're playing sports. There's a lot, and you may think you don't like it at first, and maybe you will like it. Maybe you will be something you didn't even know, unpack something you didn't even know you had. But I think kids should be well rounded in sports, in arts, in music, and in literature. And I'm telling you, I have an experience of a lifetime. As I look at this, as I look at this thing, and it's in great condition. I have an experience of a lifetime, a story to tell everybody that I just told right now that I'll never forget. And I said, I do want to say I did have a great time also on the team. Just wasn't for me, and I moved on to the next thing I did. But I apply all that energy into everything that I do. But for those of you out there, you should play a sport. Try something every once in a while. I mean, have your kids try it, even as an adult. I just have fun going to these conferences and playing, basketball on water, water volleyball. Like I say, I mean, it's fun. A little competition is fun. It's good for the exercise. But that's how playing baseball got me a trip to Hawaii. Right? Very neat story. A lot of sports, like I said, is mostly audio. So go to your audio streaming services. Make sure you follow, subscribe, rate it. Tell us what you think of the show. And if you're audio listening, come over here to video, YouTube, JLJ Media, and check this out. And some other videos will be coming out in the future. Thank you for listening. This is A Lot on Sports. Talk to you next time.